Rise and ground, folks. Guys, I'm on the way to an existing customer. Make a long story short, this customer's mother, I think we put in the furnace and the AC unit here at least 3 or 4 years ago. But the issue here wasn't what we put in. This customer had a tenant living there. I know this tenant was a pain in the ass. And make a long story short, they had like a miscommunication there, and the landlord tried to get this tenant to move out. It took them like 2 years for this tenant to move out, and allegedly she was like a hoarder. I didn't go there. I think one of my guys went there a couple years ago, but I remember this customer's last name. But according to her and her mom, they got the tenant out. They had the gas turned off to the property. So from our records, 2 years ago, everything was working, and the customer or her mom was in charge of taking care of the filter. But I guess since the tenant moved out, they turned the gas off and they had to clear everything out. So she said that the heat wasn't working. But guys, I am almost there right now. I'll see y'all when I get inside. And this is a lockbox. I gotta get the code. And I gotta take my 4-block walk to the truck and get my tool bag. She said she thought the contractor was gonna be here, but they got tied up on another job. But they did put a key in the lockbox. I gotta get the code and I gotta get my tool bag. Hopefully, since this is I believe this is a 2022 install, since this thing is like under 4 years old, hopefully this is just a reset of the switch or something very minuscule. And once again, I believe we came out once, either for the heat or AC, to replace the filter. I think we came out for the maintenance after installing the unit, but getting to and from the equipment was kind of difficult due to the mounds of crap that was down there. But now it should be easier to figure out what's going on. But all right, guys, let me get what I need here. I'll be right back. Guys, I think this is turning into what I suspected the most. Once again, this unit was working fine when we installed it. This is back when the tenant was here, but there was a bunch of crap and buildup down here. She got a bunch of home remodeling stuff done, but look at what the hell I'm seeing here. They got the gas turned on. The guy told her that something's wrong with the pump. Look at the damn wire. They don't even have power hooked up to the furnace, so there is no way they can troubleshoot this furnace without having power. Wires are cut. I'm pretty sure they upgraded the panel. You gotta love it, guys. You gotta love when customers get new construction work done and you get put in the middle of it because what you put in obviously was working, but then the home improvement contractor starts to fuck around, and they could have just simply just gave us a call and we would explain to them exactly how everything was or supposed to be. But there is no power in this basement. It looks like they had an emergency switch at the top of the stairs, but the switch is not even hooked up. It's just an empty box. Guys, tell you what, I got more questions than answers. I gotta step out and I gotta call this customer. Cause something ain't right here. I hope they didn't expect us to reconnect this. We can, but I don't know what the scope of what the hell they're trying to do here, guys. All right, let me step out and call this customer. I'll be back. This would be one of these calls that I probably normally won't record, but this is all education. Guys, there was a big misunderstanding with the contractor that the customer hired. They disconnected the electric, of course, to run, to replace the breaker. But look at this shit. Once again, this is already working years prior. All the electric is disconnected. Brand new panel down there, and they have ample amount of space to run new wires, but I told the customer to get in contact with the construction company or whoever's in charge of the remodeling project. It looks like they got a lot more fixtures and a lot more electrical work to do down here. We can, once again, it looks like there's a wire already connected going down. We can do the electric, but the fact is, without us knowing what the game plan is here, we don't want to we don't want to quote the customer for something that the contractor probably can do here himself. If they disconnected the electric, there should be ADCs to reconnect it. But I just got off the phone with the customer. She's going to call the contractor. And the fact that the pump is disconnected like this, I don't know what the thought process here is. But guys, this is going to be a to be continued service call. As long as someone's paying, we'll come back here and do it. But like I said, the fact that we haven't been out here in 2022 since we installed this 80% furnace and coil and condenser. But guys, there was a mountain of stuff in this basement before. I'm assuming they got everything gutted out and then they started upgrading everything. But yeah, even right now, the gas is on, but the water is off because they got to do the sinks and the toilets upstairs. But yeah, we'll get down to the bottom of this one way or another. And they'll have to figure out what they want to do here. But all right, guys. There's no need to get them out on serial. Everything is on file. I'd rather turn the gas off here. It looks like PGW already turned the gas on, but presumably the shutoff is off at the meter. But I'm gonna pack up here and wait to hear back from this customer. If they want to do the electric, then hats off. But if not, then we can always come back here to do it. But yeah, there you have it. I don't know what you want to call this. No heat. Maybe this is a misunderstanding between the contractor and the customer, but we're unfortunately in the middle of it. But this is no big deal. But since we know what needs to be done, we have to figure out who wants to pay for it or if they want to get this done themselves. All right, guys, let me get what I need and get up out of here. And let me make sure I got the key. But it looks like the good news is at least the carpentry work is done. They got new flooring down here, new appliances. Like I said, this place before was like covered in God knows what, but besides the electric, it looks like everything else is coming together pretty good. But all right, guys, let me get the key and I gotta put it in the lockbox. All right, guys, I gotta get to another call. We'll wait to hear back from this customer and see what they want to do. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.